Boy, oh boy, am I considering the new Nikon camera, because it is actually very beautiful. How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring you along with me to talk about the new Nikon ZF full frame retro mirrorless camera. So let's jump right into it. I'm no stranger to good old retro cameras. I really love my Pentax K1000 as well as my Fuji X-E4 because the retro look of them, but also the cool, photos that you can take with them and everything in between. And now Nikon has come out with their ZF full frame camera that looks literally like their Nikon film cameras and inspired by them and everything, as well as having a cool 40mm f2 lens that it honestly paired with that camera looks really great, and it looks like it could be like my Pentax camera. It looks quite lovely right here, like how it looks all retro. That's basically what the Nikon would look like, but now not film, so pretty nice. In all honesty, I just think that camera just looks great, but not just the looks of it, but also the specs of it. The one and only thing that really captured my eye that wasn't like the other cameras, because for specs and video, which surprisingly does a really good video for a retro camera that is supposed to be more for photo, that everybody thought, at least myself, because it looks great for street photography, but it shoots 4K all the way to 60 with a crop, I believe, and then you have 10-bit color internally and everything like that, which for a retro kind of looking camera, that's pretty wild to me. It has like autofocus subject recognition, 3D tracking and things like that, as well as a 5-axis like vibration reduction, like stabilization kind of thing, which is very good apparently. So that's pretty good for a retro camera having some, video specs. But the cool thing about this camera, to be honest, that makes it stand out more than like even the new Sony or anything like that for a full frame compact camera, is that it actually has dual SD card slots. Now, don't get me wrong, it might not be two full SD card slots, but it has a full SD card slot and then also like a little micro SD card slot, which, to be honest, people might hate on that. But the cool thing about it is that it actually lets you make sure that you have a backup rather than just having one SD card slot like, the ZVE1 or the A7C Mark II and the R. And that to me alone is actually pretty cool when it comes into the camera, because if you see about like cameras like, the Fuji, you have your one SD card slot like this one when it comes down to just having a more retro kind of camera. It's a smaller body, which is understandable, but obviously the only gripe is that the actual SD card slot is still underneath it. But from seeing other videos, they said because of the ergonomics of how they put the battery, it gives them more room to get rid of basically just having like the side grip or anything like that, to make it smaller, to have that more retro look and make sure that it fits correctly. But that way you can still have two SD card slot, even if it's a micro SD. I mean, what can I say? Nikon is actually bringing a cool new concept to compact retro looking cameras. The only retro looking cameras that I can think of are really just the Fuji cameras, which is kind of wild because most cameras that have legit retro looking cameras, because I know that Sony has their silver top of the A7C and the Mark II and so on, but it's just Fuji for me. And now seeing the Nikon has a pretty cool new setup, it's actually pretty enticing for most people that are considering to go with a full frame compact camera that can take really great photos, look really great, but also do some pretty good video in case you want to do some video. And not only that it's a compact kind of like retro looking camera, but it also has a good viewfinder on the top part, not like how this one has it on the side, but more like kind of like how my Pentax has it right up here on the middle area is basically how that Nikon has it. So you can actually look up here rather than the awkward kind of to the side thing that the Sony cameras have, which is kind of something that I haven't been following in love, but I guess it's going to be where you would just use more the screen, but then they don't give you a great screen. Sorry, Sony, I do love it, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, if you're gonna make us use the screen, give it a better resolution one, even if it's gonna be more cost effective to your profits or whatever. But having that Nikon ZF camera being full frame, and then the 40mm f2 lens with it, it looks great. I mean, it actually makes me want to get a Nikon camera just because it looks awesome. The specs look great. So kind of confused with what to do with life right now, but dang. It's just wild to me. So not really sure how to process this, but I'll kind of bring it down to a question. Are you interested on the Nikon ZF full frame mirrorless retro camera? I mean, it's pretty enticing to see, in my honest opinion. So I'm really curious to see if other people feel this way, because looking at social media and other things, I just see people kind of contemplating it. So maybe I'm not alone, even being a Sony user. And I know we have the memes of Nikon, but is Nikon gonna end the year with a solid one? Maybe. I mean, still got a little bit ways to go for the end of 2023, but to my knowledge, I don't really know much else of other cameras coming out. I think Fuji might come out with something else, but I mean, they came out with their GFX 100 Mark II. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting too when it comes down to that. But for enough rambling on this subject, it's just that I'm really impressed by Nikon. Give them a round of applause on that one. I mean, now they're bringing the Tamron 35 to 150 to their lineup. They're having this cool retro camera. So maybe they'll start bringing it around that it's more consumer friendly for people to be able to afford it with good specs, because this camera is like a competitor to the A7 IV style and the A7C Mark II. So, and it's cheaper. So maybe they'll compete as well with like the Lumix S5 Mark II. So I don't know, that's pretty great to see that the camera companies are doing that. So I'm hoping that keeps bringing to the table when it comes down to for other camera companies to get more jam-packed specs without having to overprice it, because things just keep getting pricier when it comes down to it. So hopefully they'll set an example that way, and more people will be enticed to grab it and have a good friendly competition. But let me know your thoughts below. I would love to know what you think about this camera. Is it the right camera for you? Are you kind of wanting to try it out, buy it or not? Or is it a little smash or pass kind of scenario when it comes down to the camera? But for me, it looks really good. If I had that disposable income to just get another camera just because of the looks and just to have it, I would honestly be getting it because it looks really nice. And I think it would probably be a great camera to have just for an everyday scenario, kind of like how I do with my Fuji camera. So Fuji has been a great camera to have when it comes down to for an everyday thing, just to take photos of memories or anything like that. And a full frame f2 with a 40mm lens. That sounds quite nice actually too. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video. The friend will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.